Greetings everyone, my name is Dominic and today you're tuning in to the Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. And we are well into the next calendar month, which means it's time to look back at last month's haul. We're talking September Comic Book Haul 2023. And while I'm really eager to share some of my pickups with all of you, I do want to spend a moment to thank and shout out our channel sponsor, organicpricedbooks.com. If you're looking to pick up some of the books you see here or other comic book collected editions, I encourage you to check out their website. You can find a link to it in this video's description. And hey, if you find something you like, you can even use my code at checkout, TheComicBookReport, to save $2 off of your order. Please note if you use my affiliate code or link to make a purchase, I will earn a small commission, but it's a fantastic way to support this channel. Thank you so much for considering. Now let's get started with September's Haul 2023. First up for our comic book haul, Starman Compendium Volume 1 from DC Comics. This is a big boy and one I'm so excited to finally have back in my collection. This is an incredible 90s comic series from DC Comics. It follows the up-and-coming Starman, Jack Knight, who's basically taking the mantle from both his father and his late brother to try to defend his home city of Opal City. It might sound like a pretty straightforward premise, but honestly, this work is really something to behold. It's definitely a pinnacle book for me of the 90s. I'm still about halfway through this run myself. This was reprinted in some paperbacks earlier on. I know there were some hardcover editions, standard size. I would have loved to see this collected in an omnibus. Maybe someday we still will. Right now, DC has collected the entire run of the Starman series, along with some kind of supplemental miniseries across two compendiums, this volume and a volume 2. As you can see as I flip through this collection, the art is absolutely next level. It's incredible. I love it. I think the writing is really just top notch. The characters are so well defined. There's a kind of punk rock attitude and feel to this whole book. It's really narratively and just thematically dense. We have a lot of great exploration of father and son. We have a lot of ideas about legacy and what it means to find your own identity, things like that. It really is just a fun book, a fun ride. I can't wait to review this all for you when I finish this first compendium. But at any rate, this is Starman. I really like it. I did have one or two of the paperbacks once upon a time that I sold off. And so getting these back into my collection and reading it from the beginning, it's just been a real treat. So this is a compendium format, so it's a standard size paperback, but so far mine's really holding up pretty well. I'm over halfway through this volume now. I've been stretching the spine as I've been reading it, and everything, like I said, looks pretty good. It opens pretty nicely. I would have again loved to see an oversized hardcover on this, but I'm still happy DC decided to release this run. Very cool. Next up, we have the Starman Compendium Volume 2 from DC Comics. So this might be a little bit redundant. This I'm going to just pick up right from the last one. This is essentially the back half of that run from James Robinson on Starman, following the adventures of primarily Jack Knight as the titular hero. It's just a lot of fun. I haven't gotten to this second volume myself, but I'm elated to have it to round out the set. It's another standard size paperback, that compendium format. I really do like it. Something that's interesting though, between volume 1 and volume 2, volume 1 almost has kind of a matte finish to the actual paperback itself, versus this volume 2, I don't know if you caught it at the beginning, the cover is almost glossy. It's a different feel to the actual book, which is really funny. I'm just referring to the cover itself on this soft cover. Everything else on the interior is very, very similar. There's definitely a lot of similarity between the volume 1 and volume 2. Roughly the same size. Again, I'm really eager to have it in the collection. I'm so excited to read the run in full. You'll have to let me know in the comments if this is a run you've checked out. Have you read Starman? What do you think about it? Especially this back half. Let me know what you think. But so far, I'm having a blast. And this book, like I said, the art, we change artists a few times, and the writer is James Robinson. But even as the art changes, all the artists and pencilers they have on this run are just incredible. I really like it. This is, again, one of the top shelf books for 90s comics for me that I've had the pleasure of reading so far. Really, really good stuff here. And hey, while you're watching, if you enjoy videos like this, maybe a comic book review or other comic book list videos, and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to do so. I try to release videos when I can, community posts, shorts here and there. Anyway, would love to have you aboard. Thank you so much for considering. Now let's keep going with today's haul. Next up from last month's haul, we have the Batman One Bad Day box set from DC Comics. Now, I'm just going to be flipping through a couple of these and just showing you a few of the books as I do this haul video, but rest assured, I covered this series pretty extensively. I've actually already done a review that was almost an hour and a half long on the channel, so you can definitely find it and skip around or watch what you like. If you don't know anything about this, essentially it's a 9-volume standard size hardcover set from DC, all included in this great box set, and basically it takes the central premise or idea from Batman the Killing Joke from Alan Moore back in the day, where Joker's basically talking about how anyone can be like him, they're just one bad day away. Really, society itself is just one bad day away. So from that, we have a spun out of 8 different little one-shots that are basically collected here in just standard size hardcovers for each of those one-shots with a few extras, following 8 different Batman villains or rogue characters in that kind of format or idea spun out from The Killing Joke. We also get The Killing Joke reproduced here in the box, which was a nice touch, but I really like this set. It is a little bit uneven on quality, at least in my mind, but it's still fun to read them all. A lot focus on, again, their own villain. Some of them have kind of their origin or flashback sequences. Many will showcase one bad day in the life of these characters, although some actually play pretty fast and loose with this formula, but you get a really good sense of variety in this box set. We have all different writers, pencilers, artists attached to this series. It was a fun read for me. Personally, I love the book, The Riddler, Clayface, and Ra's al Ghul. That was probably my top for this box set. Again, there's a lot more that can be said about this, and I have said it in my other video, so you'll definitely have to check it out, but I wanted to make sure to showcase it today in this haul video. Definitely don't miss out on Batman One Bad Day. Next on the list, we have the Captain Mar-Vell Omnibus from Mar-Vell Comics. And yes, this is Captain Mar-Vell, the Kree warrior. This is an older style omnibus. You know, we're looking at like Silver Age here. I got this picking up after really enjoying the Carol Danvers era of Captain Mar-Vell. I wanted to throw back to the beginning. I wanted to learn more about Mar-Vell because it's a character I know historically in the history of comics, obviously, but I haven't actually read a lot of his solo stuff or appearances, and I was curious what he's all about. This book is one I plan to review. I'm unclear exactly how long it's going to take me to read this one. Silver Age books, if you're unfamiliar with them, are generally a bit more word heavy, so they're just a little bit denser, and we have a lot of standalone episodic kinds of narratives, so it's really easy for these books to take me a little bit as you digest a lot of these just wordy kind of prose. Very different from a modern kind of book, so if you've never read a Silver Age book, again, it's just a bit different, but I do have a lot of love for the Silver Age. Love the art styles we get from this era of comic books. This book has a lot of late 60s comics, which I always like seeing. Again, the art, as you can see as I flip through, is just gorgeous. And again, I don't know a ton about the Kree, about Captain Mar-Vell. I know more of the modern Kree stuff, but I haven't gone this far back, and I'm really excited to see the origins. I also particularly like kind of future sci-fi concepts that were kind of dreamed about in the 60s. At any rate, to see those all kind of showcased in a book like this, I'm pretty excited. This is early Cosmic Marvel kind of stuff, and I'm eager to jump in and see what it's all about. If you have read some of this early Mar-Vell stuff, let me know in the comments as well on this one. I'd love some more feedback. I'm going in relatively blind on this book, but even as I flip through some of these pages here, I see some of my favorite Marvel characters showing up, and I just think this looks interesting. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll try to get a review up when I can. Next on our haul, Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider Omnibus from Mar-Vell Comics. I'll admit right from the jump, I was a bit on the fence about getting this book, but when I looked at my budget, I decided to just pull the trigger and pick it up. For those that don't know, this is essentially the Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider Omnibus Volume 2. This takes place after the last Spider-Gwen Omnibus, so if you've collected that one, this can kind of be considered a Volume 2. Now, I have not read the contents of this. Truthfully, I'm still making my way through Volume 1. I do love that first omnibus, what I've read so far. I think the art is so so pop art inspired. It jumps right off the page. The coloring is just lush and beautiful, and I think this character is really interesting. I obviously love her interpretation and the Spider-Verse movies, and to read her on the page in that other omnibus, I've just really had a blast so far. Ultimately, I think I picked this up based on FOMO, if I'm being totally transparent with all of you, the fear of missing out. I was worried that by the time I finished that first omnibus, this would be out of print or hard to find. So anyway, I picked up a copy, and flipping through this, I'm not disappointed. I think the art is really beautiful in this collection as well. It looks like we have a couple different artists taking over here, but it's still a really similar visual style. This is definitely a very Spider-Gwen-y book, in my opinion, and I like it. I see some references to the multiverse in this, which is going to be fun, and overall, I am really happy I picked this up. I think that I don't have any kind of real buyer's remorse here. I love that it matches the volume 1 on the bookcase for the most part. Really a fun book. I don't know that I'm going to get around to reviewing this for quite a while, or if I do, it would probably be the volume 1 first, but I wanted to go ahead and showcase it as I picked it up this last month. Yeah, just look at this art. I think it's pretty exceptional still. I think the artist that we had in the first volume I maybe preferred a little bit more, but I think the art, like I said, is still pretty similar visually, and I just like it. I like this character. I'm excited to see what the volume 2 has to offer. Next in our haul, we have Captain America by Ta-Nehisi Coates Omnibus. This book was a ton of fun. I actually just read and reviewed this for both the Organic Priced Books YouTube channel and my own. Maybe you've seen it, maybe not, but if you're interested, I do have a full review already on the channel. This run takes place after the Nick Spencer era on Captain America, and if you've never read the Nick Spencer era, they definitely shake up the character for Steve Rogers and kind of all the public perception around Captain America, what he's capable of, things like that. I'll try not to spoil any of that here. Suffice it to say, a lot of people are a little bit mistrustful about Captain America. Steve Rogers is really trying to cement himself back as kind of a virtuous hero, and he's trying to get his bearings again. We have Captain America as almost an underdog in this run and trying to get back to really what he once was in many ways, and I loved it. I think it was a ton of fun. Ta-Nehisi Coates had a very specific voice for this character and the themes and the run itself, and I think it was really, really well done. It has a really good scope as far as the storyline all kind of leads to an ultimate climax, beginning, middle, and end. There are little interstitial kind of mini arcs, but everything really serves this one big story across this run. So if you prefer books like that have basically one central narrative, I think that this is a fantastic read. If you enjoy Captain America, I think you'd like this. In many ways, this feels like a return to form for Captain America for me, and I really just enjoyed it. I had a great time. I think the artists we have throughout this book are really incredible. I loved the art. I think the action sequences were really kinetic and interesting, which in a Captain America book, I thoroughly enjoy. It has a fantastic supporting cast of both heroes and villains, and I got to see Captain America in just different ways I hadn't before while feeling so familiar and true to character. Really, really well done. It absolutely makes me want to read more from Ta-Nehisi Coates. Couldn't be happier with this omnibus. But again, for more on that, you can check out my review. Okay, and then we have the Captain Mar-Vell by Kelly Thompson Omnibus Volume 1 from Mar-Vell Comics. I have to say, this was definitely an anticipated book for this last month. I really, really enjoyed my time reading the Captain Mar-Vell by Kelly Sue DeConnick Omnibus, which I reviewed, I believe, the other month. I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to see other books that had Carol Danvers, Captain Mar-Vell. This omnibus came out recently. I had friends in the community, Omnidog comes to mind, who talked about how good this run was, and I wanted to check it out for myself. So I picked up a copy of the Volume 1. I have started it at the time of this recording, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this as well. It does feel quite a bit different from Kelly Sue DeConnick's run, but still really, really incredible. I'm enjoying it. It's fast-paced. It's fun. The art for this book really pops off the page. I think it's really polished and nice looking. Flipping through the book, it looks like the art is really consistent throughout this book, which I always love seeing. And overall, it's just an omnibus I'm happy to have. I know that this is considered one of the best modern runs for Captain Mar-Vell, so I'm eager to see where it goes. I think that they're getting ready to do a Volume 2 for this omnibus sometime next year. I could be wrong on that, but I will be eagerly awaiting it. I am enjoying this so far, so as long as I enjoy the rest, I hope to eventually get Volume 2 as well. But a really fun exploration of characters so far in this book. The first major arc in this omnibus is super duper interesting in my opinion. We have kind of this other world otherworldly kind of dystopia situation. We have a lot of the incredible female heroes from the Marvel Universe banding together to stop this villainous person. I won't go into too many spoilers here. Suffice it to say, I'm impressed so far. This book definitely starts with a bang. Really enjoying it. This, again, was one I was hoping to get, and I'm happy to have picked it up last month. If there's anyone as well, I've mentioned this a couple times on the video, but if you've read this and have feedback, hopefully spoiler free, I'd love to know what you think about Kelly Thompson's era on Captain Mar-Vell. Next up on our haul video, we have The Secret Warriors Omnibus by Jonathan Hickman and company. This is a book I was also very curious about. For those that maybe don't know or are newer to the channel, I'm a really big Jonathan Hickman fan, particularly after just loving his Fantastic Four run for Marvel Comics. I've also read some of his run on Avengers. I really just love what this guy does. I loved Secret Wars that he did. I really enjoyed House of X Powers of 10, and I really even enjoyed his X-Men run. I would have loved to see a more full arc to that run, but I won't speak too much of that here. It was still pretty good. This book was on the list for me. I know there are some other creators involved here with this title, but it is a big Jonathan Hickman book still. It basically follows Nick Fury and a team he's creating of superpowered individuals, many of which are the children of supervillains of the Marvel Universe, who band together to basically try to save the world. This is a kind of interesting geopolitical kind of espionage book mixed with just a really fast-paced action, character drama, superhero narrative. It was unlike much that I've read before. I really liked it though. I think how they depicted Fury as just this really hardcore guy. He had a lot of really cool one-liners. He feels like an 80s action hero in many ways, and that's how he's depicted in this book, and it just really works. I think the characters we get, the team itself is run mostly by Daisy Johnson, who's I think called Quake. I know she was a character in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show as well. Anyway, it was really cool to get to know that character more, along with the cast of heroes here. These are kind of secondary, tertiary Marvel characters that I didn't really know of many of them, if any, before reading this book. But that's part of the joy here. We get to see this cast of characters that we don't really know much about come together as a team and just try to do their best to save the world. Like I said, we have a lot of spy fiction subplots and kind of themes and motifs and stuff throughout this book, but it just really works. And I really like Nick Fury. I did just finish this omnibus, so you can look for a review on my channel shortly after the time of the recording, hopefully in this next week. But anyway, that's the Secret Warriors omnibus. Super happy to pick it up. Alright, bub. Next on our list, we have the Wolverine Omnibus Volume 4 from Marvel Comics. Yes, this was another hotly anticipated pre-order for me. I did do an unboxing of this on my channel already, so you might have seen it. I did get one of the direct market covers, and I think it just looks incredible. We have Wolverine launching into an attack on Sabretooth. I just love it. So this is really exciting for me. I have the other 3 omnibuses that have been released in this line so far. I've read the first one, a good deal of the second one, and I believe I've dabbled in some of the contents of the third one, so I'm still playing catch up. This is another one I kind of FOMO bought. I know I'm going to love it. I can't wait to get to it, but I'm still making my way through, and I wanted to make sure I pick these up before they go out of print. That being said, flipping through it here, I love the different art styles we get, and this is an era of Wolverine I've never had the pleasure of reading before, so I can't wait to get to it. I know we have some pretty stunning events that happen toward the end of this book that I've read a little bit of since getting this omnibus, because I just couldn't wait. Anyway, really excited for this pickup. As always with this line, I love that we not only get the Wolverine run, but we get some other Wolverine appearances from solo titles, miniseries, other things. We get just this great chronology of all of the solo Wolverine appearances that I'm aware of in this great oversized hardcover format. I know they've already solicited a Volume 5 omnibus to come out next year in 2024, and so that's just really exciting. I love that we're going to have so much of this character dedicated to omnibus format, especially from the very beginning. This book just looks beautiful. Like I said, I love flipping through it, and just seeing some of the art and some of the creators attached to this, I just know it's going to be a wild ride. I think for me, this character really stands out. I've always really enjoyed kind of his ferocity mixed with that kind of like Zen samurai spirit. It's a really interesting juxtaposition of character. I've seen him just change hands so much from different creators over the years, but I'm almost never disappointed with the incarnations of Wolverine, and I think that this era is definitely one I'm excited to check out. Next up, we have the Miles Morales Spider-Man Omnibus by Saladin Ahmed, and this book is another one I was hoping to pick up. I did get the direct market cover, I'm excited to say, and so far this book looks to be another winner. So this is another one, kind of like the Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider Omnibus I talked about earlier. Even though there isn't a volume number, a lot of collectors, we can think about this as a volume 3, because this does take place after the second volume, the Bendis era of Miles Morales Spider-Man, under this new creative team with Saladin Ahmed. So even though this is his run and it kind of takes place under his kind of purview, we again have a bi-omnibus, but this is really a volume 3. And so I'm really excited to read the subsequent adventures of Miles Morales. I enjoyed the Bendis era from everything I read, really enjoyed Bendis in general, and I like what we got with Miles Morales, so I'm excited to see what it looks like under a new creative team. I'm excited to hear what other voices have to say about Miles Morales. So that's what this omnibus is going to be for me. It's a pretty decent size omnibus. I've heard pretty mixed things about this run. Overall, I know a lot of people seem to enjoy it. I, for one, am really eager to dive in. I love the art it looks like we're seeing throughout it, and this is a creator I've just been curious about. I believe he's going to be currently writing Daredevil, so I'm definitely having some vested interest in this writer. So hopefully I can break him in with this omnibus. Let me know what you think of this run on Miles Morales, but I'm really excited to go further into this book, and I hope to review it once I get it finished up. Man, so cool to get a couple Spidey omnibuses this month with Spider-Gwen and this. Really cool. I love that we have so many other web slingers in the Marvel Universe these days, the whole Spider-Verse angle on everything. But it's really cool to kind of fill up my bookshelf with all of these Spidey omnibuses. I am a big Spider-Man fan, and some of these adjacent books, well, frankly, I'm really eager to continue to make my way through. And with that last omnibus, that is a wrap for my September pickups for 2023. That was my comic book haul. It was quite a big month. I'm sure October is going to be much, much smaller, if any. But this was a really great month. I've really enjoyed what I've had a chance to break into and read so far. Like I said, a lot of these that I've already read, you can find reviews for on the channel if you're interested. If there's others you see here that you're interested in that I haven't reviewed yet, definitely make sure you're subscribed. Maybe hit the notification bell so you can find out right when I'm going to be dropping content on them. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear in the comments, as always, have you read any of these books? What did you enjoy or not enjoy? But more than that, what were some of your recent comic book pickups? Single issues, collected editions, or maybe even what you're reading digitally or from a library. Let me know what you're thinking, what you're picking up, what you hope to pick up. I always love reading that in the comment section just to get a feel for what everyone's reading these days. Thank you so much for watching, as always. It means the world to me. And until next time, this has been the Comic Book Report. Please don't forget to give this video a like, maybe share it with a friend, or check out some of my other videos. Have a good one.